$5 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent Dan Savino, and believe me, if SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-513-2334. That's 800-513-2334. 800-513-2334. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Want to sit front row and see the Chiefs play at Arrowhead Stadium? KOFO and McCoy's Furniture Loft want to send you. All you have to do is stop by Furniture Loft in Osage City or Emporia and register. You and a friend could be sitting in the front row to watch a Chiefs game. Only one win per person per season. No purchases necessary. Must be 18 to win. The next giveaway is for the Chiefs game on October 7th versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll announce the winner on October 1st during the Brad Howard Early Morning Show.
And we're back here on the Ken Kessinger Show, live from Pizza Time in downtown Ottawa. Braves play Saturday afternoon, late afternoon, 5 o'clock start at Salina. Let's talk a little about the KCAC, because this is kind of a topsy-turvy looking league right now.
It is. You know, you got Sterling that's lost 2. You've got Tabor, who's 1-1. They'll be playing their 3rd game this week because they were on bye last week. You've got Kansas Westland, who finished 3rd in the conference, undefeated. You've got newcomer Avila, who's 3-0.
And who would have thought?
Yeah. Well, you just, with them, nobody knew anything about them.
Right.
So,
right.
And they, it seems like there's always turmoil going up on Avila because, I don't know, they go through coaches like a windmill. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so they've got just an outstanding kid playing quarterback for them who came in at the end of their first game and, pitched 3 touchdown passes, and then he had like 6 or 7 the next week, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And he's lighting it up. It's let's see, Fuentes, the quarterback for Kansas Westland, is Jacobs, that's the quarterback for Avila. So yeah, they're really good. And Southwestern starts off in fire, and then kind of goes into a lull the last couple weeks.
Yeah, Max
up and down. Yeah, they're 1 week good, 1 week bad, 1 week good. I'm hoping by the time they get us, they're on their bad week.
And the Friends Falcons, boy, what it's been rough for down there.
Yeah, it's been rough water for them for sure. So hopefully they don't get it figured out in the last week of the season when they got to play us. But yeah, it's pretty amazing. And the national scene was kind of that way for the first 2 weeks as well, and it kind of settled out last week. I think the top 15 teams in the nation all won their games, so I think it went down to always, I think the highest ranked team to lose was probably at about 18 or something like that. So it kind of settled itself there. So
it's really kind of interesting because these games also appear to be, with of course the exception of the Wesleyan games, but these games are they're awfully close, at least score wise.
Yeah.
Are you seeing that when you look at film also? Or, I mean, are they tight throughout?
Well, watching Bethany and Bethel from preparing for Bethany, Bethel should have won that game. That's a team that's in the bottom of our conference right now, but they fumble a ball going in. And give up I think they gave up a pick 6 in the game as well. So I mean, when they were going on a scoring drive, and so it's a game that could have been turned around the other way, and that's another team that's now after we play them, they start scoring some points.
Right.
And so yeah, it's they're fairly tight. We beat St. Mary by a field goal. Bethany beats Bethel by a field goal. We win by 7 this last week.
Avila beat Sterling by 4 in the first week.
Yeah, first week is a 4-point game. It's some pretty tight scores. And you said Kansas Westland's the only one that's different. They've played Texas Wesleyan, who I don't know if they're good or bad.
Right.
I watched them on film, but it's hard to tell, without seeing them live and in person. When they played Friends, and then what really upset them, I thought, was they went down to Kansas. Kansas Westline went down to Sterling and just put it on them.
Yeah, on the road. That
it was.
amazing.
I mean, and it was 42-7, but it wasn't much of a game.
Yeah.
I mean, they really put it to them.
Now, you mentioned the NAI rankings, and I went out there and looked at that this afternoon, and the thing that struck me, because I hadn't seen it up to this point, we're seeing new teams break into these rankings and break into them in some cases high. Evangel, who it's been a long time since Evangel in Springfield has been.
Yeah, they went from unranked to number 11, but they should have. They beat some outstanding teams. They beat Benedictine. They beat Grandview.
Yeah.
In the second week of the season, or first or second week of the season, they were sitting 3-0, and they're not playing a bunch of slouches at that point. They jumped in. There's I think that a team that just lost last week that I was interested in seeing what they did was Kaiser. Kaiser was 2-0.
Right.
They just started football a couple of years ago.
Southeastern of Florida.
Southeastern, they've kind of been up and down in the bottom of the ranks and stuff, but they move up and then they kind of settle themselves out. I don't know how strong that conference that is over there in that area. They got some good teams there. You got a Faulkner teams are out there, Reinhardt, Georgia's in that area as well. But some of the solid teams that are there every year, St. Francis, Morningsides, they're still on top.
Yeah, Southern Oregon.
Yeah, Southern Oregon,
Northwestern, all those.
Yeah,
all those people. Yeah. So but it is rather interesting to take a look at those rankings. I think you're seeing more schools maybe playing football again. Have you noticed that?
There's, I think that we've managed to add a couple schools and then retain some as well. So for a while it was like we'd add 2, lose 1, and there's not with Bacone dropping football that obviously hurt the NAI losing a team, but. There's 2 teams that are playing like in independent leagues. They're the only people in their league right now, and I think one's in Michigan, and there's another one I can't remember exactly where it is. But we're starting to see some more teams add, and I'd like to see the KCAC add one more football playing team. Sure. That would be great. And if we were sitting at 12, we can go north, south, east, west, however you want to divide it up. Of a conference and get 2 automatic bids if we're ranked in the top 20, which I think that they would be ranked in the top 20.
Yeah, and I think there's been talk about that, but whether the action sometimes is not all that easy to do.
We've added these teams that aren't football playing teams. Is what the thing that's been bad about it. And so you have a York that doesn't play football. You have an Oklahoma Westland that doesn't play football. We need to add football playing teams.
We're going to take a break right here, and we'll come back and talk about the upcoming game against the Kansas Wesleyan Coyotes. You're listening to the Kent Kessinger Show live from Pizza Time in downtown Ottawa on 103.7, 1220 AM, KOFO.
Hey, Ryan, where do you want to go to eat?
Pizza Time.
Pizza Time? Where's that?
At 208 South Main in historic downtown Ottawa. Or we could call 242-TIME and have it delivered.
242-TIME?
Yep, call my BFF Duke and his friends at Pizza Time.
What are you going to order?
I don't know. It's all so good. Pizza, sandwiches, appetizers, and dessert.
Now you've got me hungry. I wonder what time it is.
Pizza Time!
What it means to be an OU Brave is to be yourself. What I've learned here is I've created memories with friends, and I was actually really comfortable being in my own skin here. Everybody has their own personality, and we're all unique here, just trying to live significant lives. And I think I'm going to leave here with an imprint that will last forever and that I can hold on to and look back at and laugh at and see that I not only learned something, but I created friendships and memories that will always stick with me. That's what it means to be brave, to be yourself.
Be a brave. Visit ottawa.edu.
Even though school has already started, getting your child's school physical is still possible at Ottawa Care Clinic. Now open 7 days a week inside Cosentino's Prize Chopper, 120 East 19th. No appointment is necessary, and a staff of experienced and caring registered nurse practitioners is waiting to help you. Remember, bring your physical form, proof of insurance, or $50. Most insurances are accepted. Ottawa Care Clinic open 7 days a week, Monday through Friday, 11 till 7, Saturdays 9 till 4, Sundays 9 till 3.
This is Eric Price, Funeral Director at Lamb Roberts Funeral Home. You're always welcome to visit us if you need to discuss pre-planning, pricing, services, or if you just want to share a cup of coffee and a time of need. But if you can't make it by, we invite you to visit us at lamb-roberts.com. You'll find a complete list of obituaries, ways to send flowers or gifts, a guide to help you plan ahead, and tips on handling grief. Just another way we provide compassionate care when you need it most. Lamb Roberts Funeral Home, 242-3550, and at lamb-roberts.com.
Money. Who doesn't love money? You want some? Then enter to win the KOFO Bank Midwest Count the Cash Contest. We're giving away $1,037 in cold, hard cash. And all you have to do is guess how much money is in the KOFO Bank Midwest Cash Cube. Be the closest to the total cash in the cube, and you win $1,037 to be exact. Wait, here's the best part. Nail the actual amount of the cash and coin in the cube, and Bank Midwest will throw in another $1,037. Half to you, and half to the charity of your choice in Franklin County. Tune in to KOFO for Cash Cube sponsor locations. Register one time at each location during every live remote broadcast, or stop by Bank Midwest anytime. Make your guess and win lots of money. Count the Cash. Brought to you by Trio, Brown Shoe Fit, Gun Guys, Car Star, 7 Seaters, Furniture Loft, Bank Midwest, and KOFO.
And back here on the final segment of tonight's Kent Kessinger Show, as we talk now about the upcoming opponent, the Kansas Wesleyan Coyotes. Mentioned a little bit about them in the previous segment. 167-14 over 3 games, and that is impressive. Let's face it. You can't deny that at all.
No, I mean I told our players, and there's no, I mean, everybody in the world knows that if I had to pick an arch rival team, throughout my entire career coaching, in the KCAC and playing, it's going to be Kansas Wesleyan. So there's no love lost there, but there's a whole lot of respect. I've looked at them for the last couple of years, and this team, they've got. I was kind of hoping they would take a step back after losing their quarterbacks like they did, but man, they got a kid that comes in there and is slinging it. I think they're leading the league. If not, then they're tied for the top in the nation in passing efficiency. They're scoring points in droves. Their defense is solid, really, really solid. They're a good football team. and it's going to be a really good test. I like where we're at as a football team because we're coming into this game, with 3-0.
Right.
And I think that's a bonus. But this is going to be a test. This next 3 weeks are going to be huge tests for us, and this is, I think, the biggest one of the bunch right now.
Yeah, it's a brutal 3-game stretch for you. I mean, you've got really the top teams coming in terms of where the conference thought they were going to be.
Yeah. And I look at, I've now seen all of them on film, and I would say far and away the Kansas Wesleyan is the toughest of the bunch.
What about defensively? I mean, the Braves have been able to put points on the board themselves, so it's not like we don't have some weapons here to utilize on Saturday afternoon. What kind of defense are you going to see, and what types of things cause you some concern?
Well, they're based out of a 4-3 defense. They're gonna rush. Looks like this year they're choosing to rush mainly just with their front four, put their pressure on with them. Their linebackers are really good run support guys. They run really well. They're fairly physical. They use them in kind of an underneath zone, and then they play man over the top with their secondary. So they match up, about 5 yards down the field. They're playing matchup zone basically like you would in basketball, and so they're matching up and playing man to man, and so it makes you got to be a little creative in your pass game. You got to do some things to get one-on-one matchups. I think we're going to have to move some people around and motion a little bit. Try to get them to start communicating. Anytime you can move and go fast, and then make people, become fairly one-dimensional, or make them talk a lot. Defense. Right. If you ever see a team motion across and you see 2 or 3 people move, the more people that move, the more communication they have, the more chance that you have and to make them make mistakes.
Right.
So we got to be able to do that, and we really have to take care of the football. One thing that we can't do as an offense is turn the ball over and put our defense in bad spots. We got to make them drive the field if they're going to score, make them break down. We have to take care of the football. We have to be tempo orientated. At the same time, we're going to have to figure out, does our defense need a break and a rest? Because it's going to be two up-tempo teams going after each other.
Right.
I told our guys that if the offenses hold true to form, I feel sorry for whoever has to break our game down the road because they're going to be there for hours breaking it down because there's going to be so many plays. But that's what we got to do. We got to be able to figure out how to take care of the football, score points when we can offensively against a defense that's going to play a lot of man, and then our defense has to be able to slow them down and make them make mistakes. I don't know if their quarterbacks had pressure on him this year.
Okay.
So
and the Braves have been good at getting pressure on him.
And we've had some good success with that. So we've got to be able to get there. We can't hang our secondary out to dry against the passing attack that they have.
5 o'clock start, kind of an odd
Yeah,
time.
it is an odd time. And I can't remember why Coach Drinkle said that they were doing it. I think it was something that their athletic department had said that they needed to start at this time, whether it was because there was a soccer game after. It can't be a soccer game afterwards. That would be a late start. But there was something going on that they had to be able to do it. And so, I'm all right with an earlier start. It means it beats the heck of getting back at 2 in the morning like we did from Bethany last week. So, 5 o'clock. I'm a big fan of the 6 o'clock start that we do, and I think we had our last. This will be our last evening game. The rest of them are going to be 1 or 1:30 from here on out.
Right.
So it'll be nice to have one more in the later evening and then get these day games going on.
Well, especially with the 100-degree weather we've been
having.
having
Oh my gosh!
here.
Hopefully it's not as hot as it was last week, because at 5 o'clock we would have been just going crazy with the heat.
How have practices been this week?
Well, so far we had a little bit of a walkthrough on Sunday to kind of getting them loosened up. It was a pretty physical game, so we got some sore guys that are getting over some nicks and dings. Hopefully we can get them all healed up by Saturday and going. Today was hot. We practiced down in our grass practice field that we fondly refer to as the swamp, and it was very swampy today. It is hot, muggy. We really put the pressure on the kids today, and I think they responded okay, and we'll see how they respond tomorrow from today's practice. But we got to be in shape, and we pushed them through the paces pretty good today. We did a pretty good job, I think. I'll go back and watch the film tonight, but we got tomorrow and Thursday, obviously, to get things going and get it all shored up.
Injury situation. I understand that Connor Kagi probably won't play on Saturday.
He won't be playing this Saturday. He took a pretty good hit to the head and neck area that wasn't called targeting, which I can't believe. But so he's going to be out with a concussion, going through concussion protocol stuff. Still had a little bit of headache today, so it's probably going to be next week. Hopefully we get him back for the Tabor game. If not, it should hopefully be the next week after that. But kind of reminds me of, I think it was 2011 when Bobby Adamson went down, and we had Shane Gimzo come in and play some quarterback, and he did really good. And I think Spencer's going to do the same thing. But that's he's one of our injuries. Butch Klingensmith has got a nurse in a knee. We'll see if he makes it back on Saturday. But Brendan Grove, freshman, came in and filled in really good. But we do get Jalen King back this week, which is really good, and we get some of our defensive linemen back, so that's good as well.
I think I've noticed so far here this season that the depth has been pretty impressive,
especially on the defensive side. And on the defensive line and linebackers, we've got some guys good depth and that are playing really well. I mean, I think now you add Urian Bates Manley and Lance Zeno to our defensive line mix this week, and now I think we got a good 9-10 guys that I think we can rotate in there. Pretty good D-line. And, linebackers, we're doing the same thing on the inside. We can go 5 to 6 deep.
And that's a great problem to have.
Yeah,
is
like to have it in some other problems.
Exactly.
Some other areas. We'd like to have it a little bit more in our secondary and then a little bit more in our, our backfield, I think. So.
Well, it keeps everybody fresh, if nothing else. And
tries,
and I'm sure that makes more people happy too, of course.
Yeah, well, hopefully. Yeah, we'll see. We'll keep them here. It helps a lot going down the road.
Well, the game is once again at 5 o'clock, so that means Bob will be on the air coming your way from Salina at 4 o'clock. He'll be talking with you and the other coaches and try to get everything previewed. And Salina's an interesting place to play. They've got a nice facility there.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's probably, I would say now, the best in the KCAC for sure. They got really nice digs. If they could just not put the purple on the field, I would have been all right with that. But it's really nice. So.
And you'll be saying the same thing about Tabor Blue the next week, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, they'll be here for us, so we'll have the beautiful black and gold on our field. So.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of the Kent Kessinger Show. Thanks, Coach, for coming in and talking with us. And, I think Bob will be back with you next week. And we'll have that program for you next Tuesday night following the 7 o'clock news live here from Pizza Time in downtown Ottawa here on 103.7 and 1220 a.m. KOFO. This is Gary Bateman saying so long.
Information and entertainment in East Central Kansas. KOFO K279CS Ottawa, where keeping you informed comes first.